Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I think it would be a great idea if I introduced myself. I am Tracy from the Wild West. My channel is called Life in the Wild West, the art of living. My channel is, it's a variety of things. I like to call myself the niche because I don't have one. So I'm glad you're here. I have been sharing a lot of vintage footage from 1989. I guess that was my big year to film. I graduated high school in 1989, and I've been going through these old films that my dad transferred over to a flash drive. And I came upon this tiny gem. It's a very, very short clip, but evidently I took my video camera to school when I was a senior in high school. I love morning coffee. So interesting that I took the video camera because I have to talk about a few things. Cameras back then were not a tiny cell phone. They were not a tiny little, I think they call them DJIs. They were honkin' big, okay? So I took my honkin' big VHS video recorder to high school. Now, when I say big, maybe I can find one somewhere and pull it in here to show you what I mean. But they were like huge, carrying them around on your shoulder, videotaping, and I took it. I took it to school. I think I had filmed a project with some other students earlier in the week, and I was going to present our books. I think it was for an English class, not this class that I'm in, but I think I took my video camera to school to share what we had recorded on this book report. We each read a book and spoke about it. So I also have that footage on here. It's very lame-o, but I have that on here as well. So evidently I brought my camera to school. This teacher had to have been a substitute teacher. I do not remember her from Adam, and I have a memory like an elephant. So, and it was very obvious that we were not being very kind to her in this class. We weren't settling down and sitting in our chairs properly. But also I have to share why a little bit. It was called Life Skills. I do remember this was our Life Skills class. And what that was is a class that taught us how to balance a checkbook, write checks, be an adult, basically. It was for the kids that were not college bound. It was the class that felt they had to teach us life skills because we weren't going to college. This was the class that also had us carrying around a sack of flour, treating it like our child because they also assumed we would get out of high school, get pregnant, have babies, and live a normal life. Is it normal or below average? I don't know what they were thinking. And, you know, in some ways it's true. I didn't go to college. And I had 3 children, and I got married to someone I met in high school, motorcycle man. We were not high school sweethearts. I always have to make that clear. We dated between my junior and his senior year for 3 months during the summer, and then we broke up, and then we got back together right before I turned 21. So we weren't technically high school sweethearts, although people assume that. I met Motorcycle Man in high school, though, and I married him when I was 23. I'll have videos to share about our wedding, too, because I'm having so much fun with this vintage section of my channel. And so in some ways they were right. I got married young. I had my kids relatively quick. My first child I had at age 25, and my last child, I think I was 31 or 32 when I had little RJ. So yeah, we lived a very not a professional type of life, like where we were doctors or attorneys or going to school or executives of any kind. I just learned this from my friend Bean, and this is crazy because I'm 55 and I just learned this. I kept calling us a blue collar family, but RJ, I always mix RJ and Bean up when I talk about him. Bean says that I that we are a white collar family, which means we had jobs that weren't physical labor. Although when I married Rich, he was a forklift operator and he knew every serial number to the forklifts that he drove. It was the weirdest thing. And they were like at least 16 digits long. And he'd be like, this is forklift, blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, what? Crazy, crazy. I could go back there too. Oh my goodness. I used to visit him at the warehouse and he would drive me around on his forklift. Would that be allowed these days? I don't think so. Anyway, he was a forklift driver, but then he married me. And I've shared on here before, my parents own a company, a construction company, and my dad offered him a job in the office. And back in those days, he wore slacks and dress shirt and even a gold watch and probably some kind of loafers, because we used to dress like that when we went to work. And I would wear my little suits with my nylons and my pumps, and we worked for my parents. So those were what I guess they call white collar jobs. I was the receptionist when I first started, answering the telephones, greeting people coming in, and he was back doing something back there, I don't know, in the office. And we just had a very simple life. I never thought we would be able to own a home, for one. I thought, how on earth are we ever going to own a home? We rented a really, really, really cute vintage apartment in Uptown Whittier. I loved that apartment. It was so, so cute. It even had an indoor laundry, which we don't even have now. But what happened was his next door neighbors growing up were selling this house. And they offered it to Richie, because when he was growing up, everyone called him Richie. And they offered it to Richie because they grew up next door to Richie. And they wanted their house to go to someone that would take care of it and love it. And they chose the right people. So they offered this house to us at an amazing price. It was $137,000 to buy this house. Now, we, of course, borrowed against it many times. We put in all new windows because every single window in this house was broken, had literally either cracks through it or actual, you could fit your hand through holes in the windows. They were the wood framed old windows. So we had to replace every single window. The garage door was those heavy wood doors you lift up. We had to get a new garage door. So when it would rain, I had to do my laundry out in the garage and go out the front door, lift up that heavy garage door and go in and do our laundry. We have since added on a huge room. We added on 600 square feet. So we had to keep borrowing money to do these things to our house. The upstairs bathroom was gutted. It didn't have a shower. It was basically studs. We had to make that shower. The bedroom underneath had a huge chunk of drywall missing out of the ceiling because what happened was the shower upstairs had leaked down and ruined the ceiling and leaked onto the bedroom floor. And so we had to get new drywall in rooms. We had to replace every single interior door because they were hanging off the hinges. The stove, they used pliers to turn it off and on. We had to get a new stove. It was, oh my goodness. It was such a time. But we have made this house our home, and still there was work to do. There's work to do in this house. There's so much to do. And now that the kids are gone, I want to do things to this house. Like I've talked about upgrading the kitchen and wallpapering and painting. And we did work on the outside. We got siding put up and we painted it this beautiful iron ore color. And I got the Dutch door of my dreams. And this house has become our home that I never thought we would be able to afford because I went to life skills class. Because they said she's not college bound and she's going to need all the help she can get. But here I am today, as happy as can be. I love our house. I love our family. I love our home. I wouldn't change a thing. We have struggled like no other at times in our lives where we lived paycheck to paycheck. And I think it made us stronger. Instead of tearing us apart, it grew us together. And I'm so thankful for my life so far. I'm having to film this in sections because I upload it to my laptop and sometimes it's too long and it doesn't know what to do. But I did not mean, honestly, to sit here and talk about my life and how we got this house and what we've done to this house. I did not mean to do that. I never have a plan. I just sit and talk from my heart. I've said that my channel's often therapeutic. It's given me a voice. It's like a diary. It's a legacy that I hold for our family. And that's why I love having a YouTube channel. So if you're still here and you're with me and you're new here, and maybe you're not new here, maybe you're a great old faithful viewer. I have some faithful viewers on here. My channel's just a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything, but for me, mostly it's about legacy and documenting our life. And my favorite playlist on here, if you're new and you want to get to know me a little better, my favorite playlist on here is Last December Vlogmas. I created a Vlogmas playlist, and the videos are usually under 15 minutes, so they're nice and short, easy to digest, I call it. They show a lot of the little big things that I love in my intros. I taste jelly in every episode, which is kind of silly, but I did a jelly advent last year and it was so fun. And then my blood sugar went up when I had my physical in January. That wasn't the best idea, but it was fun because I would eat the whole little jar of jelly every single day. Every day I had a jar of jelly. They were this big though. But I love the Vlogmas playlist because it shows what was going on in our life at the time. And what was going on at the time was we were gearing up for our youngest and only girl to move to a different state. And that was very emotional for me. I know some of you are having kids go off to college right now. School's just started up again. And it's a huge adjustment when the kids start leaving the home. And I had to keep myself busy and I was able to document it, and I was able to spend some of those last days with Abby living at home with her on the channel. And I cherish those times. I know, I'm stuttering over my words. I know I will go back and revisit those videos because that time in my life is never going to be again. Just like this little video that I'm going to share in my classroom as I was a senior in high school. That's never going to happen again. We need to live in the moments and love the moments as they're happening. You know, Abby, who we have nicknamed RJ, Rich Jr., that's what it means, has moved to a different state. She's engaged to be married. She's planning a wedding. And it's never going to be the same. She's never going to live back at home. I mean, I don't know. You can't say never. You don't know what's going to happen in life. But most likely, you know, she's in her different phase of life. And it's been such an adjustment. But what I'm trying to do is, like, when I go up there and visit, I really try to enjoy the present moments with her. There's talk sometimes from other people about babies and having children and things like that. And I was like, you know what? We need to stop talking about that because that's not happening yet. What's happening right now is they're excited to plan a wedding and they're newly in love, and let's just enjoy those moments instead of jumping ahead to the next step and the next step and the next step. And it's just a reminder to me to live in the now. I really make a conscious effort to live in the now. I know it can be hard. Sometimes we think about, here I am sharing the past. So now I'm talking about living in the now, but I'm sharing the past. Okay, but let me explain something about that. The past has made me who I am today. I value the past moments in my life, and they are worth revisiting every now and then because they have helped me shape who I am today. But as far as thinking about the future and all the unknowns and the what ifs, we don't have time for that. Life's too short. So I like to just try my best, and I'm not perfect at it. I tend to skip ahead sometimes, but I really try to anchor myself in the now. And so, as I share the past, let's remember where we are now, how we got here, and enjoy where we are in the moment. So I hope you enjoy this clip, this very small clip of a day in the life. And it's not even the day in the life. It's like maybe, I don't even know if it's 2 minutes of classroom life as a senior when I was in high school. Enjoy.
Emma, I get home tomorrow afternoon, or yesterday afternoon. Oh, are you? Joe, hey, Trace, hey, Trace, hey, Trace. This is how you want to you want to be cool.
Amy.
Cool, what?
No, I know she
Oh, you got tan.
I know, that's what I just said.
Here I am sitting in one of my favorite new spots because of the rainbow stairs. Not everyone needs rainbow stairs, I know, but I love my rainbow stairs. I just love them. I love that I painted them whenever, over a month ago. They're just my pride and joy right now. What did you think of that video? Okay, that was horrible. We were horrible to that teacher. Obviously, we were unruly, not being kind. And I'm just saying, teachers sometimes endure a lot, don't they? I know that we weren't always kind, especially to the substitute teachers. We thought we could get away with way more when the subs came in. But when I think about teachers in our kids' lives, I am so thankful. We've had some really good teachers in our kids' lives. Austin, our oldest, had Mrs. Osgard. She has since passed on. Rest in peace, Mrs. Osgard. We loved you so much. She taught my kids, both my boys, how to make apple pie. She read them Where the Red Fern Grows. And every time she read that book, she cried, she told me. We really appreciated her as their teacher. There was Mrs. Calhoun. She was able at the time, they don't let them do this anymore, but at the time, she was able to have a hedgehog in her classroom and birds and different animals. And she would trust the kids to take them home over the weekend and take care of these animals. And it really made these kids feel like they could do something really important. I loved Mrs. Calhoun. And one time Dylan saw her car at the library parking lot and he's like, that's Mrs. Calhoun's van. I want to leave her a note. And he left her a note and said, Mrs. Calhoun, you're one of my best friends. It's just teachers. They're so special. And then RJ, she had her name's Mrs. Litt now, but Mrs. Litt was her math teacher in middle school, and Abby was in her wedding. She had all of her students that were special walk down the aisle and represent, like, I don't know what they're representing, just part of her life as a teacher. And that's what teachers do. They're beautiful, beautiful souls. Be thankful for the teachers. That's all I'm going to say. Until next time, peace, love, and keep going.